Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today, we are going to be looking at Fiserv, ticker symbol FI.
Oh, yeah.
They've been making some waves
Uh,
in the financial technology world, providing solutions for banks, payment processors, you name it.
Absolutely.
And honestly, what's caught my eye is their resilience in these, uncertain economic times.
You're right to be impressed.
Yeah.
What I think is so fascinating is that Fiserv is not just surviving,
Right.
they're thriving. And their recent Q3 2024 earnings report
Yeah.
really blew past expectations.
All right, so let's dive into those numbers.
Okay.
They reported earnings per share of $2.30,
Yeah.
beating the predicted $2.26.
Uh-huh.
That's got to make investors pretty happy.
Absolutely. And their revenue was even more impressive,
Oh, wow.
hitting $5.22 billion
Okay.
against a projected $4.90 billion.
So exceeding it by quite a bit.
Yeah, it really goes to show that they're exceeding expectations on multiple fronts.
Right.
But here's what I find particularly noteworthy.
Okay.
Their year-over-year revenue growth is around 7%. Wow.
In this economic climate,
Yeah.
that's not just good.
Right.
It's a sign of strength.
Okay, so we're seeing some serious growth here.
Yes.
But what does that translate to in terms of profitability? Are they just growing for the sake of growing, or are they actually making money?
Excellent question.
Yeah.
We need to look beyond the top line numbers.
Okay.
And when we do,
Yeah.
we see a return on equity of 17% and a net margin of 15.22%.
Okay.
Those are healthy figures.
Yeah.
It tells me that Fiserv isn't just expanding.
Right.
They're doing so in a way that's fiscally responsible
Okay.
and generates profit.
That's music to an investor's ears.
For sure.
And speaking of investors,
Yeah.
what's the current buzz around Fiserv? Analysts are predicting an 8.77 EPS for this fiscal year, so that seems pretty optimistic. But how's the stock actually performing?
Well, as of January 22nd, 2025, Fiserv is trading at around $208.98.
Okay.
We did see some fluctuation within the day between $208.67 and $210.78. But that's pretty typical.
Yeah. The key takeaway here is that the stock is currently trading above its 200-day moving average of $175.48.
Okay.
This could be a signal for potential short-term gains, something worth watching.
So there's a lot of positive momentum here.
Yes.
But I know the market can be unpredictable. Are there any red flags investors should be aware of?
Well, there has been some recent insider selling of over 235,000 shares. This doesn't necessarily mean disaster is looming,
Right.
but it is something investors should consider.
Yeah. They say insider selling can be a canary in the coal mine.
Right.
But hold on, wasn't there also some positive news from analysts recently?
You're right. The Royal Bank of Canada recently upgraded Fiserv and increased their price target to $224,
Wow.
up from $183.
Okay.
That's a significant jump
Yeah.
and suggests a bullish outlook.
So we got this interesting mix of potential warning signs with the insider selling and some very positive signals from analysts.
Uh-huh.
It seems like Fiserv is keeping everyone on their toes. What do you make of this for someone who's, trying to decide whether to invest?
It's crucial to look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
While Fiserv has strong earnings and positive analyst sentiment, there are some factors that warrant caution.
Like what?
Well, for example, their PE ratio currently sits at 40.42,
Okay.
which is on the high side.
Yeah.
It suggests the stock might be overvalued.
That's a great point. And we can't forget about the recent minor stock declines.
Right.
It seems like Pfizer's performance might be closely tied to overall market volatility.
Yeah.
So what should investors be watching for in the coming weeks?
I think they should definitely keep an eye on broader economic indicators.
Okay.
And Pfizer's next earnings announcement,
Yeah,
scheduled for February 5th, 2025, is also going to be a major event.
that's right. February 5th is going to be a key date for anyone interested in Fiserv.
Yes.
We'll be sure to cover that in detail on our next Investing Talk podcast.
Looking forward to it.
But before we move on to the technical analysis, just want to make sure our listeners are following along.
Okay.
We've got this powerhouse in financial technology, showing strong earnings and positive projections from analysts.
Uh-huh.
But there's also the high valuation and recent insider selling to consider.
Right.
It paints a complex picture, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and that's what makes investing so challenging and exciting.
Yeah.
There are no easy answers or guarantees.
All right, well, let's try to unpack this further for those of you who love diving into the charts and numbers.
Okay.
Get ready,
I'm ready.
because we're about to jump into the technical analysis of Fiserv.
Let's do it. Let's start with some key indicators. The 50-day moving average is currently at $209.31, and the 200-day moving average sits at $175.48.
Okay.
These give us a good snapshot of how the stock has been performing over different time frames.
So we're looking at two different timelines here, short-term and long-term.
Right.
What can these averages tell us about the current state of Fiserv?
Well, it's interesting because we see Fiserv trading below its 50-day moving average,
Right.
which could point to some short-term weakness. However, it's significantly above its 200-day moving average, suggesting a longer-term uptrend. This might be a good sign for those with a long-term investment horizon.
That makes sense. So short-term might be a bit rocky, but the long-term outlook seems more positive.
Yeah.
Are there any other indicators that can help us delve deeper into this?
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the RSI, or Relative Strength Index.
Okay.
It's a momentum indicator that helps us understand if a stock is potentially overbought or oversold.
Right.
Currently, Fiserv has an RSI 14 of 38.97.
Okay, for those of us who aren't technical analysis wizards, what does that number actually mean?
So an RSI below 30 is generally considered oversold territory,
Okay.
while an RSI above 70 suggests overbought.
Got it.
With Fiserv's RSI at 38.97, it's edging closer to that oversold region.
Okay.
This could mean that the recent dip in price might be an overreaction and the stock could be poised for a rebound.
So potentially a good buying opportunity for those who believe in Fiserv for the long haul.
That's one possible interpretation.
Okay.
However, it's important to never rely on just one indicator.
Right.
Let's see what the MACD, or moving average convergence divergence, has to say.
Okay.
Interestingly, it's painting a different picture,
Hmm?
showing a bullish signal, which usually hints at upward momentum.
Hold on. So we've got the RSI hinting at a possible rebound and the MACD suggesting upward momentum.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a bit of a tug of war between these indicators.
Yeah.
How should we interpret this?
That's the challenge and the beauty of technical analysis.
Yeah.
You have to look at the whole picture, consider all the signals, and weigh the different possibilities.
Right.
Another tool we can use is the Bollinger Bands.
Okay.
Think of them like guardrails for the stock price. Fiserv's Bollinger Bands are currently at $226.78 for the upper band and $201.85 for the lower band.
So the stock price has a little room to move around within those bands.
Mhm.
Where does that put Fiserv right now?
The current price is nearing that lower band, which could be a sign that we might see a bounce back soon. The stock might be approaching a support level.
Interesting.
To further support this idea, let's look at the stochastic oscillator, which is currently at 5.78.
Okay.
This is another indicator that strengthens the possibility of an upward correction in the near future.
So we've got the Bollinger Bands and the stochastic oscillator both hinting at a potential rebound. This is getting interesting.
Yeah.
What's your overall take on all these mixed signals? It feels like a real puzzle.
It is a puzzle, and that's why we need to be careful about drawing definitive conclusions based on just one or two indicators.
Right.
For those already holding FI,
Yeah.
I recommend a hold strategy for now.
Okay.
The mixed signals we're seeing suggest a cautious approach is warranted until we get more clarity.
So not panic selling, but not rushing to buy more just yet either.
Right.
What about for those who are considering adding Fiserv to their portfolio? What should they be watching for?
I'd say keep an eye on the overall market trends.
Okay.
And of course, Fiserv's upcoming earnings report on February 5th. That will give us a much better understanding of their current performance and potential future direction.
Uh-huh.
Look for attractive entry points, which
Right.
might emerge when the stock approaches support levels or shows clear signs of recovering from this oversold condition.
So patience is key here. Don't jump in blindly, but be ready to act when the opportunity arises.
Exactly. And remember, the market is constantly evolving. Staying informed about broader economic changes, keeping an eye on industry trends, and following those earnings reports closely will be essential for making informed investment decisions.
February 5th can't come soon enough.
I know, right?
That earnings report will be a game changer for Fiserv,
Yeah.
potentially swinging things in a more positive or negative direction. It's all about staying informed and being ready to adapt.
Absolutely.
But before we wrap up, let's recap what we've learned about Fiserv today.
Yeah.
We've got a company with strong financial performance, positive projections from analysts, but also a few areas of concern like the high valuation and recent insider selling. It paints a complex picture, doesn't it?
It's a reminder that investing is always a balancing act. We have to weigh the risks and the rewards and consider our own individual investment goals and risk tolerance.
Well said. It's all about making informed decisions.
Yes.
And remember, we're not financial advisors, so always do your own research and consult with a professional if needed.
That's right. Knowledge is power, especially in the world of investing.
Absolutely.
We're here to provide insights and information, but ultimately the decisions are yours.
And with that, I want to thank you for joining us today on Investing Talk Podcast.
You're welcome.
It's been a fascinating look into the world of Fiserv FI.
Yeah, I always learn so much from these conversations.
Me too, and to our amazing listeners. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you found this episode insightful and helpful as you navigate the world of investing.
Yeah.
Remember, you can always stay connected with us by subscribing to Investing Talk Podcast, sharing this episode with your friends, and leaving us your thoughts and questions in the comments. We love hearing from you. So we've covered a lot of ground today, from earnings reports to technical indicators.
We have.
But at the end of the day, it all comes down to one question.
Yeah.
Is Fiserv a good investment?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And as we've discussed, there's no simple answer.
Right.
Fiserv has a lot going for it.
Yeah.
A strong track record, impressive earnings, and a leadership position in a growing industry.
For sure.
But there are also some potential headwinds.
Like what?
The high valuation, recent insider selling, and the overall market volatility.
It's definitely a balancing act.
It is.
But that's what makes investing so interesting.
Right.
We're constantly gathering information, weighing the pros and cons, and trying to make informed decisions.
Exactly. And remember, investing is a journey, not a destination. There will always be ups and downs, twists and turns along the way.
Right.
The key is to stay informed,
Yeah.
stay adaptable, and
Right.
never stop learning.
And that's what we're here for on Investing Talk Podcast. We're committed to providing you with the insights and analysis you need to navigate the ever-changing world of finance.
Absolutely. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out,
Yeah.
we want to empower you to make smart financial decisions.
So as we wrap up this look at Fiserv FI,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about their current performance, but what about the future?
The financial technology landscape is evolving rapidly.
It is.
What will Fiserv do to stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah.
Will they continue to innovate and grow, or will they be disrupted by new players?
Those are the questions investors need to be asking themselves.
For sure.
And that's the beauty of it. We get to watch the story unfold and see how it all plays out. Who knows what the future holds for Fiserv, but it's definitely going to be an exciting ride.
It certainly will be, and we'll be here every step of the way, breaking it all down for you on Investing Talk Podcast.
Thanks for joining us today. And remember, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to Investing Talk Podcast, share it with your friends, and leave us a comment with your thoughts and questions. We always love hearing from you.
Until next time, happy investing.